Okay, tonight on the Mac to the Future show, we're going to talk about the Apple Education event that just happened yesterday, and we're also going to talk about the latest with the current Facebook apology tour. It is Mac to the Future. Yeah, but boom, 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 boom. Hit the drums, man. Hit the drums.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, I think you did. Hey, everybody,
Awesome.
It is Mac to the Future, and as you can hear, I don't have him on screen yet, but as you can hear, Warren Sklar is back. He is back from California, back from the moon, and back on the Mac to the Future show. And I'm, this is the way it's supposed to be. Real quick, let me go ahead and bring Warren in. Hello there, Warren. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I miss you guys. I miss you, guy. Go ahead.
Didn't we have some fun with all the audio issues we had just before we started? Ow, I just hit my hand.
It seems like every week. I actually hit my hand too. And look, I got like a little cut and everything. This is a dangerous show.
It is. Very, very quickly, I wanted to say hi to some of the people that we have in there, especially to Kevin Eason. Dude, I haven't seen you since it was a high school reunion that was back in like 5 years ago, maybe longer than that. My memory is like for total crap, so you'll probably know or remember it a lot better than I would. So I hope everything is going great with you, and thanks for tuning in. This has to do with Kevin as well. This year is the 40th. God, it's how long? 40th anniversary of our graduating class from 1978. 40 years, Kevin. And I swear I don't look a day over 57. You know how old I am? Can you take a guess, Warren?
You're like early 50s. 50.
Yeah.
50, 52, 3, maybe?
No, it's
higher.
I'll be 58 this year.
Okay.
58.
You look fine. You look good.
Well, I feel good. I feel good.
I was 7 years old when you graduated.
Oh, in 19. Yeah, we are old, Kevin. Sucks,
yeah.
Doesn't it? Okay.
Well, hi, Kevin.
Something that I wanted to let you guys know about. I haven't really pushed it too much in either my regular page or the Mac to the Future page. I'm doing this new thing. It's going to be like, it's been a lot lately, but it's going to morph into like 2-3 times a week. Right now I'm calling it Guy's Daily Drive. It'll probably stay Guy's Daily Drive because I'm lazy. And it's just a little 10 to 15 minute snippet of stuff that I record while I'm driving on my way to work. Currently it's on YouTube, but one of the things that I'm thinking about is grabbing the audio out of it and just posting it so that you can download it from iTunes or wherever it is that you get your podcast from. And it's going to be a while as I try to work out all these. I got so much going on right now. I still haven't even really started with the Maltese Cube audio drama thing that I've talked about for the last 2 years. I mean, I actually have some people lined up for it. I am rambling, Frank.
Can't you with the video podcast? Can't you do a video podcast? I've seen them. I don't know what they are, but I've seen video podcasts.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. This is a video. I mean, it's a live cast, but it's also
but it comes up in like the podcast apps. Like if I go in the podcast app and I look some say
Oh
video,
yeah. Well,
I don't. I mean,
the problem the problem with that is you can't use YouTube as storage for video podcast. I can't take a YouTube link, as far as I know, and put that into an RSS feed that people
okay.
can just go ahead and download. I don't know if YouTube will allow that, and I don't know if Apple will allow that. What I
So is
really
that
need
what
to go
is
ahead.
that what they point? Is that what they point to? So the video podcasts are pointing to a storage
Yeah,
somewhere that you're posting that video.
yeah. Apple doesn't store anything as far
Right,
as
right, right,
actually any content except maybe their own, but things
right.
like audio podcasts, audio books,
Mm.
movies, TV shows, all this stuff. All of this is hosted by typically the companies that create the content, and then using like an RSS feed, really simple syndication. Um, they'll go ahead and give those links to Apple, and then Apple will post those links, and that's what you're actually downloading from. That's what you're actually watching.
So so
Hey,
Tim
Terry.
Rob so Tim stores your stuff on his server. Is
On
that what
his server,
happens?
right, for
Okay.
the My Mac
For the Mac.
podcast.
Yeah.
After I get done editing the audio, I put it into. We have a combined Dropbox account that not only I use, but other people at mymac.com. And
Mm.
so Tim will take whatever files that we put up in the Dropbox, and he'll put them on his own server, and then point to those when
Okay.
the files get when the not really the files, but when the RSS is updated for iTunes.
So in theory, you could do the video the same way, like that, but
Right.
obviously you need more storage space, and you don't want to take his
More
servers up.
storage. A
Yeah.
lot more storage would be required,
Right.
and that is
Okay.
not cheap. That
No, I
is
never knew that. I thought like Apple hosted that. So I didn't. I
nope.
just listen to podcasts. Like they magically come from the sky.
you,
I had
you
no
hit a
idea where they
button
are.
and whoop,
You hit a
there
button
they
and
go.
the podcast comes. Yeah, exactly. Learned
Um,
something today. We learned 3 things every day.
guys,
Four
daily
things,
ramble, pretty much.
pretty
Let's
much.
see. Does this crap make it to the released podcast version? Yes. Yes,
Sure,
it
why not?
does. Yes, it does. Um,
All right.
couple things real quick. Now, I do have a Patreon page that can help pay for all this crazy stuff that I do. I also have something new that I'm trying. Warren has been very generous and already used it. It's a new service that I don't know if it's new to everybody else, but it's new to me. It's called Coffee, KO-FI. If you go to KO-FI.com and then look for Mac Parrot, that'll be me. You can do like a one-time gift of like I think it's $3 is the standard.
$3.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you
and
could double
every
it
little
up.
bit helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
it's all
it
appreciated.
took me a while to find because I heard you say it on the podcast on your podcast.
Yeah,
First I'm like COFE and that didn't work, and then KO KOFE without the dash and that didn't
KO.
work. So I'm like, ah, crap! I have to re-listen to this podcast to figure out what you said. So
Oh God, and that was a long one too.
it was a long one. I didn't
Yeah.
have to scroll through it, but yeah, cool.
Well, for people who don't know, that was last week's released one was the 700th mymac.com podcast. Now, I haven't been part of it from the very, very beginning. Gaz and I started with show 285. I'm really condensing this down quite a bit. Gaz and I took over the MyMac podcast with 285. So we have done 415 episodes, weekly episodes. Well, either the both of us together or him or me have 415 episodes of the MyMac podcast.
Yeah, and
Really
this
long.
one, and if you guys want to listen to it, it's pretty cool because Tim Robertson is sort of he's the for don't know, he's the owner of my.com and he's just started all that. And he and I go through a whole section kind of like the history of how it all started and things like that. Talk about Mac conferences and all that. So it was good. It's interesting.
Yep.
He's a cool guy, Tim.
He is and
Yeah.
really, really smart. He has gotten me through some of the worst technical problems related to podcasting. Well, actually, not just podcasting, but lots of things. So he's kind of my go-to as far as, oh, I don't know how to do something. So I just contact him and he figures it out.
And if you need a car,
Yeah. He's yeah. Yeah, if you live anywhere in the Michigan area, he
was it Cadillacs? Is that what it
no,
is?
it's Toyotas.
Toyotas.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
Yeah.
was talking me into getting a Prius, and it's like,
Okay.
I don't know, not
It,
so much
it's,
being
it's,
a Prius.
it's the old ex-Apple employee turning car salesman deal. I guess.
Who would have figured something like that
We'll
would happen?
we'll all do it one day. Yeah.
All right, Apple on yesterday, had an education event, and for all the because I guess just because it's been so long since there's been any kind of Apple event, there was a lot of hype and a lot of buildup to this coming up, and I wasn't really sure why. If the event had been held, at the Steve Jobs Theater there in the mothership, then it would have been like, oh yeah, they've really got something going on here. But it was held at a, I guess you could call it a prep school. We used
It's
to
a
just
high
call
school.
them high schools. Yeah,
No, this one I think was a high school. It was
yeah,
just I think it was just fancier one, but
right.
it could have been private. I don't know. I don't think it was though.
I
I
don't
think it
think
was
it was
public.
private. I think it, but
Mm,
well, I don't really know. So it
yeah,
doesn't really matter, I guess. But it was at basically a high school,
yeah, in
and
Chicago. So
in Chicago. And
yeah,
the big thing that they released is probably everybody knows by now, a new 9.7-inch iPad, not the Pro, not the Mini, an iPad. The big difference between this one and the one that came before it, they put in the A10, not the A10X that's in the Pro, but it has the A10 processor, and it also had, this is the first non-Pro iPad that has the ability to use the Apple Pencil.
yep,
So, or
yeah.
I have here in my notes, or other similar devices, because there was something else that it's not an Apple product, but they did show it. And it's from Logitech, which is, they've been supporting the Mac and Apple for decades. They're calling it the Crayon, kind of
Yeah.
a pencilish device.
It supposedly does the same thing. It's half the price, but the only thing it doesn't do is that it
3D
does a
touch.
pressure. With, I mean, it does a pressure sensitivity, and you could tell about the curves and like things like that. There was one thing it didn't do that the pencil do. Um, and then of course students get the pencil a little bit cheaper too. I think they get the pencil for $89 instead of $9 as
Yeah,
well. So it's
but
like
the
$50.
Crayon is $50, $49.
Yeah. Well, that's what I read. So this crayon, when at least uh, some of the software that they were talking about, the crayon is can also be for teachers, and somehow the teacher could go over everybody's iPad because it doesn't pair via Bluetooth and kind of like grade spot. It's like almost like a grading thing, so they could come over to your iPad X, smiley face or the F in the circle, come see me after class.
That would be
So
on mine. That would be on my
yeah,
iPad.
but seriously, that's what it is. It's different than the pencil that it doesn't actually pair with the particular iPad. You could go on anybody's iPad and start writing on it.
Well,
So it's gonna work with the new iPads.
one thing that kind of surprised me that they didn't do, especially with this being an education event, and I don't have it here in the notes, was that they didn't make for there to be a way to have multiple sign-ins, multiple people log on to
Mm.
an iPad. Which, if you're trying to compete with the likes of Google and Microsoft with cost, and you're putting out a premium product, which Apple's iPad is, then how do you compete with cost? Well, what you do is you make it so they don't have to buy as many. And
Mm.
I was kind of surprised that they didn't do that.
They're first of all, people are saying I'm breaking up a little bit. So if there's any jolting, you can do that. In any case, they're competing with Chromebook. Obviously, they're competing with Chromebooks, and Chromebooks in general are the same way. They you don't log in multiple people into a Chromebook. That's what their goal is to basically be an iPad version of the Chromebook. Um, so that's what they're trying to do.
Looking hot.
Who
Thank
is
you.
that?
It's my one of my nieces.
Oh, okay. Is my
I,
is my
I
audio better for people could
I
listen
was
to me?
just kind of listening, and yeah, you are kind of
Breaking up's hard to do,
yeah. I
man. Anyhow, well, we'll get through it.
yeah.
So, uh, what you said before really hyped up. I think the ball started to roll. People knew the iPad was coming, and hey, if they're going to do a cheaper iPad, maybe they'll do a cheaper computer, and if they do a cheaper MacBook, then maybe they'll
Do
do
a
this and
new
that.
iPhone. Yeah, it was an education event, people.
Yeah,
There wasn't going to be any products that weren't really related to education that they were going to release.
I don't think they did such a great job to be. Yeah, even not from the hardware standpoint. The software, obviously, we don't know much about
Well,
until
not yet.
June.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the hardware. I mean, basically, they took the iPad. It's almost the same price as a current cheap iPad. I think it is the same price as a current cheap iPad. You have pencil support, but you have to take away a bit of it too. I think it's got the screen's not as nice and the camera's not as nice. So I mean, they should have, if they really want to hit it out of the park, make it $300 with the pencil support and smart connector, uh, or make $250 without the smart connector. I really think,
Well, that was missing from the iPad as well. It doesn't have a
yeah,
smart connector.
the smart connector, that's huge.
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean,
Well, I mean, what is Apple or anybody else released for with the smart connector other than keyboards?
sorry.
And it can be, and there's lots of different ways to do keyboards. You know, especially with Bluetooth keyboards are cheap; they're a dime a dozen.
They're just a pain in the butt. So yeah, so people like I have a smart connector. For a lot of places, can make a smart connector for it. And hold on a second. You there?
Yeah, but at
Okay.
what point? At
Sorry.
what? No, that's no big deal. At what point, if you add the smart connector, does it change from being an iPad Pro? So you either reduce the price that you have on your iPad Pros across the board and make this a low iPad Pro, which I guess
Mm.
you could do by but what kind of cost savings are you really going to get if the only real difference is an A10 versus an A10X processor?
Right. No, well, I don't think for an iPad, I don't think the kids really care that much about the processor. If I'm a kid, I want something that's going to work. I don't deal with Bluetooth. I just want to open the keyboard and pop it in and go, or pop the
And have
keyboard
it
off
work.
and go. Yeah, that's I mean that's sort of what the Chrome does as well, and um, I think they should have added that.
Well, the on this sorry, on the software side, as we were saying, this now less expensive iPad includes pencil and crayon support in Apple's iWork apps as well as Microsoft's iOS apps. There's a new app that was announced called Schoolwork that lets teachers create courses for their students and track their progress. Privacy concerns are somewhat alleviated, especially that'll be the next story, as Apple claims that no one besides the teachers, or really anyone else who can guess the password, um, but that's kind of on the schools to implement, can view the materials, and that includes Apple. This is kind of the same thing that was going on with the phone, where the feds and foreign governments are saying, well, you need to unlock this device so that we can see what's on it, and Apple's going, we can't. It's set up in such a way that even we can't do it.
Yeah, so I mean, Schoolwork is there's apps out there already. I mean, that do they're saying that it does.
Yeah.
My son goes to a school that they have the whole app system. the teachers could assign courses or homework. They submit their homework through the app. It's all done through this system. So that's what they're competing with. Just an end-to-end solution between
Right. And I think that's
us. Yeah,
Google that created that.
Google.
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
I
But
can ask them
it mostly
downstairs.
works through Chrome, I think.
I don't know. There's a few because I know
Blackboard.
I've seen
That's
one.
it.
Blackboard sounds right, and then there's another too. So there's a couple big ones out there where teachers could assign work and receive work. And that course planner. So
And,
that's what they're doing. Yeah,
and they
they're
also
trying.
they showed off a new Apple ad. I don't know if it's been released yet out into the wild. That shows off some of the iOS technology called Homework, and it's basically um, just these kids that get assigned a project on Gravity, and the various things that they do and the various things that they can accomplish with iPads to put this presentation together. And it's relatively well done. But you compare it with the Face ID one that they came out with. Well, I guess that was while you were gone, where the girl was
Yeah,
walking through.
I saw it.
Yeah,
So,
and it was kind of. I thought it was especially funny that an iOS bug made it into the
yeah.
to the ad.
Yeah.
Ah,
The ad was all right. I mean, it it was kind of silly. I don't know. Yeah, how much to be honest with you. I haven't seen it. There's the one you're talking about. They actually showed at the beginning of the presentation yesterday, supposedly.
okay, well, there's a
About
link. There's a link in the show notes, and yeah,
okay,
and I will try to remember to put that in the show notes that I
cool.
release the video when it's out and done.
Here, I'll put
We
it. I'll put it in the chat room.
we are we are going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about some of the stuff that's been going on with Facebook. So everyone, hold on a minute, stand by, and make sure I do this right, and we'll be right back. This is Private Eye Macintosh, and I'm here to tell you about a book written about me and my search for the Maltese Cube. Yes, it's a fine book. I think you should get it. Quiet, you. It combines technology, Mac trivia, action, murder, suspense. Oh, just tell them where to get it. I'll get to that. Romance, film noir detective fiction. I can't stand it anymore. It's called The Maltese Cube, and it was written by my Mac writer and podcaster Guy Searle. Find it on Amazon. It's only $2.99 and coming soon to the Apple's iBook store. Don't forget, it's The Maltese Cube and so inexpensive. You know you're not in it, right? I mean the next one, right? Sure thing, Louis. You know, this could be the start of a beautiful friendship. Get the Maltese Cube on Amazon and soon in the iBook store. Okay, we are back. And Encam, if you could please update this software so that it does like a transition between one scene and another scene, I would really appreciate it, because right now it's like there's this and now there's that, and that's just the way it works, and I don't like it. But I do like the software overall. It's very easy to control everything. Over the last couple of weeks, one of the big stories that's been going on has been the never-ending Facebook drama, and
No,
Mark Zuckerberg, and I can't remember her name. I think she's like the number 2 person there at Facebook.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Yes, thank you. Have been going around and apologizing to any camera that will sit still long enough for them to say that they were sorry. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so we were over. When it happened, started to happen with San Francisco.
right,
So we were in the heart of it. People are going crazy over there too. Um, yeah, it's bad. The way I understand it is there was a company that created a poll that had nothing to do, or a game that had nothing to do with politics or something like that, that collected information that they sold to or gave to Steve Bannon, I guess is what happened. And nobody except the people doing it. Um, so it's not a good thing, but
No.
it's not the end of the world. I mean,
And honestly, this is what Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Snapchat and all of these free social service media companies do. They gather information on their users and they sell them to advertisers and other people. Now, I actually took some time to look into this, and the breakdown, as I was able to find out relatively quickly, is this: there was a Russian American researcher at Cambridge University named Alexander Kogan, and he had a company called Global Science Research. And they created this app called Is Your Digital Life in 2014. And some 270,000 people were paid to allow the app to be used by Cambridge Analytica to harvest their data at a cost of around $800,000. However, because of how Facebook's privacy settings are arranged, not only were the paid volunteers' data collected, but also that of their friends and family that did not have their privacy settings set to prevent this. In other words, probably the vast majority of pretty much everybody that uses Facebook. And it basically ballooned from about 270,000 people to about 50 million people that had their data collected by Cambridge Analytica. Now, of course, Cambridge Analytica is denying any wrongdoing, and Facebook, of course, is looking for ways to get people less angry, and the whole thing is a bit of a mess. I don't really understand how people don't get that this is what these companies do. And if this is something that you don't want to have happen, then you should not be using things like Facebook and Twitter and all of these other social media apps that this is their job. This is exactly what it is that they do, and I don't think anyone should really be surprised. And Frank Petrie saying that Facebook privacy setting is like navigating a maze, and it's actually worse than that because
right, they're trying to fix it. Yeah, I mean they're trying to fix it. I mean, that's
this
what
is
they're
time. I mean this. Ooh,
yeah.
the camera just went out of focus. Come back, Camrock,
I
come
said,
back. There we go.
um, I mean, I think the main problem with this is because it got political. There was
Yeah,
political involvement. So if this exact same thing happened, it turns out that we secretly gave money to Chanel, or purses. People like we all 50 million people told Chanel purse we want to buy our wives. Nobody would care, and even if we didn't. But the fact
yeah.
is, it's political.
Targeted ads.
It was, yeah, that's fine. It's a political thing that was in the middle of whether we're trying to figure out whether Facebook in general affected the election with fake news and Russians. So this doesn't look good when it comes to that, and people are getting upset about.
Sure.
So this was, something else. We probably wouldn't care, but yeah, am I a little upset? You know, I'm upset that whatever. Obviously, I didn't secretly tell Facebook enough that I didn't want to vote for that person. But, it's political. It's more political than privacy.
Well, the problem is this isn't the first time that Facebook has had their hands literally caught in the cookie jar,
Mm-hmm.
and every single time this happens, they kind of do this whole apology thing. Oh, we're going to be much more open with what we do with your data and blah blah. And for a relatively short amount of time, they do that, and you'll see articles on websites, how to make Facebook more secure and all the rest of that. And then you go and you change all your privacy settings. And within a relatively short amount of time, Facebook will come out and they'll say, oh, well, we have made these changes to the UI and you're really going to like it. And what they don't tell you is all those privacy settings get reset back to whatever it was that is the default, which is mostly, for the most part, here's all my data, do with it whatever you want to do with it. And that's, and then it just goes on business as usual. So this time may be a little bit different, though, because it has been so politicized, as you said, that maybe, just maybe, they'll make some basic changes that will benefit users of the service.
Yeah, and what you really got to also remember is Facebook right now is the de facto way to input personal information into a system.
Yeah.
People are using it for diaries. People are using it for photo albums. Even if Apple was doing what Facebook and Google does, we generally don't give Apple the same kind of information we give Facebook. They have access to things, but certainly not as much as Facebook. Facebook has the most amount of information about us if we're using the service, just on the basis of what it is.
Yeah.
Even Google, does the same thing as Facebook. It's different for them to figure out what you're doing by what you're searching for, maybe Gmail. But Facebook, you're literally telling Facebook about your life. You're entering things about
every bit of your life.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying they should get a pass. I'm just saying it's probably not the easiest thing to have a system with so much personal information allowing access to developers to do things with your information and being able to always know what's happening with that information. So, I believe Zuckerberg when he says he had no idea this was happening, because I think he was told. He was told months ago that it was happening, but I think when they told him months ago, he probably didn't know that this was happening.
How bad it was going to get.
Or what, but I think it's a part of the system. Either you it or you understand that these things could happen, and again, nothing horrible is happening to us because of this. I don't think, and we'll go on. This is how things get fixed too.
Hopefully.
Yeah. How happens.
Well, we would love to hear your feedback on this. Probably the best place to do it wouldn't be in the comments for this video right now. Maybe when I repost it later after it's been edited. We would like to know how you guys feel about this and whether or not you think Facebook will be able to recover from it.
What do you think about the people going off Facebook? You think overreacting? You think
I think
it's a political statement more than the feeling that their privacy was lost? Right?
I think that a lot of people who say that they're going off Facebook don't go off Facebook. Think about how many celebrities said, "Well, if Donald Trump is president, I'm leaving the country." How many have left?
Exactly. Not enough.
None of them left.
So it's a cool thing to do.
A lot of posturing, I think.
Yeah. I'm not going to until something happens. So.
You go into I've said this time and time again. You go into using services like this with your eyes open. If you understand the risks if you understand the risks and if the benefits are enough to where it offsets those risks, then go ahead and use it. But just be aware of it. Don't be dumb. Understand what it is you're doing.
Yeah, and in my head, I try to think of the worst case scenario that could happen with these services, and what is, stealing your identity, I guess, and you have all the credit cards that could happen. What's like the worst thing that could happen with people having your data.
They
And
could start doing a live cast on Wednesday nights.
they could, and that wouldn't be a horrible thing, to give us a day off, but yeah, I mean, that's my feeling. Until I see what evil could happen from this, then I'm not convinced that it's going to be that bad. But I'll be wrong. Yeah.
Before we go, I wanted to talk quickly about MacStock again. It's going to be on the 21st and 22nd of July, and as usual, it's just outside of Chicago in Woodstock, Illinois, at the Luch Conference Center, which is in the McHenry County College campus in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It's a beautiful facility. There's going to be some great people there. Dr. Mac Bob Levitas is giving the keynote. Tim Robertson and I will be doing the My Mac game show quiz, and we've mixed it up a little bit this year. We're going to, instead of asking questions from audience members, we're going to have a panel on stage that will include, Dr. Mac, Bob Levitas, and a few other people. And they're going to try, we're going to give them the question, and they're going to give an answer that may or may not be the actual answer, and see if they can fool the people competing into accepting whatever it is they say as being the truth. Kind of like to tell the truth.
Can we get a little sample? Can we get a little bit of do you have anything?
Let me see. I don't have the. Let me open up Apple Quiz questions. I've actually, Tim and I have started a.
Ask me. I'll see if I can get it. No.
Okay. Let's see here.
I'm just curious of the level.
True or false? The iPod Mini was only on sale for 1.5 years, from February 2004 to September of 2005. The device's sales were so terrible as compared to the full-size iPod that Apple panicked and came out with the iPod Nano. True or false?
I don't remember iPod Mini. I remember the Nano. I remember the Shuffle.
Okay, well, let me ask you this one then.
So I'm going false on that one.
It was false. It was actually a good seller.
Was it? Okay.
Frank asking, how many Kofis do you have to buy for the answer? All of them. You have to buy all of them, Frank. Steve Jobs bought a 2-floor apartment in Manhattan in the San Remo building in 1982 and spent years redesigning the space, eventually selling it to YouTube singer Bono in 2003. So he bought it in 82, sold it in 2003. How long did Jobs end up living there? And the three answers are: A, Jobs never lived there; B, he sporadically stayed there for the next 3 years, eventually letting the apartment go to ruin; C, for tax reasons, it was his primary residence for almost 10 years, from 1986 to 1996.
I'm trying to think, because he was in San Francisco. Obviously, he was working in California. I'm going to go probably never lived there.
That's true. That
sounds like something he would do. Yeah.
He actually never lived there.
Yeah, just sounds like a Steve Jobs kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
So essentially,
to say he did it. Yeah.
We would, whoever it is that's on the floor would say, well, I want Dr. Mac, Bob Levitas, to answer the question. And he would pick one of those three answers, give it to you, and try to convince you, if he was giving you a fake answer, that was the true answer. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It sounds like fun. It sounds like fun. Yeah, awesome.
And if you go ahead and get tickets right now, you can get them for as little as $169, and that is all inclusive. There is nothing else that you have to buy to attend the conference. That will also include the speakers get together on Friday night, lunches on both days. The Saturday night MacStock Midwest Mac. I don't even know what Barry Falk is calling it. But it's a whole big shenanigans thing that he's going to be doing there at the main hotel, and all of this is included, including a T-shirt and some other swag, for $169. You can also go for a single day for $89. But if you wait too long, that price is gonna skyrocket to $249, which is still not a bad price, but certainly a lot more than $169. And you can get $10 off by using the coupon code MTTF bonus 10, MTTF bonus 10, and using that along with the early bird will get your price down to $169. And Warren, if people wanted to get a hold of you, I keep asking you this, and you give me the same answer every week. How can they do it?
They could buy me a coffee.
Yeah, they could buy you a coffee.
That's right. I don't have a coffee account. Yeah. You know what? If people want to get a hold of me, they can find me on Facebook. If they really want to email, I have a Gmail address they can do. W and my last name SKLAR @gmail.com. And I don't know why anybody would want to
Well, yeah,
contact me, but
maybe. You never know.
if you have, yeah, I don't know either. How about you?
You can reach me, guy at mttfgo.com or guy at mymac.com. I can also be found on Twitters, where my handle there is MacParrot. You can find me if you go to kofi.com/MacParrot. You can help out with the stuff there. Patreon is patreon.com/MacParrot. And I think that's going to be it, Warren. It's good to have you back, dude.
It's good to be back. I got a new band, by the way. I want to tell you
nice.
that. Well, with the event being so bad, the only exciting thing is they released a new band yesterday, and I got one. So there you go.
Okay. I think that is going to do it for the evening. Can you think of anything else that we need to say?
Max, Facebook. We have all. Thank you.
Say goodnight, Warren.
Good night, Warren.